library directors in the state. So Debbie maintains a very low profile in regards to the library. Her part is to support her, by Stephanie and her staff, and to intervene when necessary and advocate and support any endeavors they make. Animal control. I'm sure this will not be the end of the animal control questions, but I just want to tell you, let's look how far we've come on animal control. We now have a veterinarian that comes to town once a month, Doc Anderson. We have one of the lowest kill rates in the state. For a non-kill shelter, that's pretty remarkable. And how is that happening? I'll tell you how we accomplished that. We've gone out and to our citizens, and we've solicited funds for spay and neutering. We received donations for medical costs. And we've even, and Deb Oeppinger has personally groomed a lot of them, makes them a little bit more marketable so people will come in and adopt them. And a lot of times the adoption fees are waived based on donations that Deb has gone out and solicited. Historic preservation. She says, I currently sit on the board of the Great Basins Historical Society, and I support the Friends of the Territorial State House and the Daughters of the Utah Pioneers. Historic preservation costs money, and private individuals do not often have those funds needed in order to preserve a structure in its original form. I make it a point to inform the citizens of grants and tax breaks offered and allowed by the state for historic preservation. I know that sounds like a lot of mumbo jumbo, but actually there are grants. I live in a 144-year-old house, and I get a tax break as long as I don't, keep it architecturally sound as it was when I got it. And actually, Debbie Oeppinger was the one that told me that when I first moved into town. One other area of importance. How much time I got, Carl? I'm up.
Is the minute 30 working, or should I extend that a little bit? It's good? Okay. All right, we have a lot of questions to get through, so I wanted to help you guys be concise. All right, the next question I have here is, what have you tried, or what are you planning to try to curb the problem of loose, aggressive animals in town?
Do you want us all to respond to that?
I thought we were going to have everyone respond, but we can change it. I'm totally flexible.
I really
change it on the fly.
Don't have a lot to do with that. It is kind of Deb Oppinger's position to curb these dogs. We do have a very good program right now. Matt Pace is our dog catcher, and he does a fantastic job. Matt Hoff also helps in that arena. The other city employees are also involved in that particular thing. I really like having veterinary Dr. Anderson come over and work on the dogs. He's here I think it's every other Wednesday. He has tried to do a little bit more than that. He just doesn't have the clientele here to justify his time. But the adoption program is working very well, I think, and it's kind of helped keep things down. In the evenings, we do have to rely on Millard County Sheriff's Office to help with the dogs. And these guys, our city employees, are on call, but yeah, they will help. But it kind of is a hands-on thing also after those guys go home. It becomes a kind of a sheriff's office thing. So,
rather than repeat what Eric says, yes, that is what we're trying to do. As far as the way that's worded was aggressive animals, if they're aggressive, yes, they inform us that they're aggressive, so that the council is well informed about aggressive animals. But as far as that goes, Deb is the one that runs the animal control. I'm glad we're informed. We do not want loose animals that are aggressive with our kids there, and we'll do anything we can to make sure that don't happen.
Is this a problem? I mean, somebody brought this question up because it's a problem. I run 5 miles a day around this town, so if there was a problem, I would know about it. I don't, very rarely, I mean, I get barked at once in a while, but very rarely does a dog ever even run out in the road. I really don't see many aggressive animals around town. I've only ever had one big German Shepherd come out after me that made me really nervous, and I just yelled at the owner and told him he wouldn't get a chance to do that again. But other than that, I haven't seen a big problem with it. So anyway.
I think with the aggressive animals, I wonder why the city couldn't hire a special functions officer. That's someone that they can send up to post. They can receive 5 to 6 weeks of training, come back and handle city ordinances involving dogs and other city ordinances that maybe aren't being held or upheld by the sheriff's office. I understand that we contract with the Millard County Sheriff's Office, and I may or may not be wrong, but I believe that's for 20 hours a day. Maybe we need to up that contract to a full 24 hours a day. Maybe we need to take an additional step and hire a special functions officer to help with our ordinances. That would help with our beautification ordinances, our yard ordinances, our everything else, parked vehicles, dogs, and I think that's one step that we could take to improve it around the town. The other thing is in Beaver County, when I was down there, if you had your animal spayed or neutered, you could purchase what's called a lifetime registration. And I think that really rewards good pet owners that take care of their pets and have spent the money to either spay or neuter those. And I think it gives them some incentive to do that. If you haven't had them spayed or neutered, you can pay a little bit higher registration fee, but that can be done for the lifetime of the animal. I think those are a couple of things that we could look at. Thank you.
He cut into my time, didn't he? All right. I'll just go over Debbie's answer to this. She's aware that it's an ongoing problem, and the city does not have a full-time animal control officer. Animal control is an additional duty. And the city is forced to react to animal control situations because we don't have the time and the effort or we can't go out and actually do the patrolling. If you call the city responds. We send one of the guys and break them off what they're doing, and we go ahead and take care of the problem. As you know, the county sheriff, after the hours of between 8 and 5, after those hours, the county sheriff is responsible for animal control. Or they can always call in the Fillmore animal control officers if need be. This topic's been brought up to council before, and as we all know, it has to do with budget. If you don't have the funds, you can't allocate additional hours. We'd like to see that happen, and I guess one of the big things is we need to educate the citizens of the rules and responsibilities of animal ownership. I truly understand this is not Salt Lake City, this is rural Utah. Okay, but the bottom line is there's a give and take. We all kind of, how many times have we seen the dogs in the back of the pickup truck heading out to the farm? This is rural Utah, and those are one of the things that happens. Just, we need to educate the public, make sure they're aware of the requirements and responsibilities.
All right, moving right down the list here. What are your plans regarding historic preservation in our community, particularly the fact that we don't have a historic preservation ordinance or an active board?
They used to tell me at camp the first liar doesn't have a chance. So, as far as historic preservation, we've seen some Main Street beautification and a few things like that. We rely on the Friends of the Territorial State House to do a lot of. That is a group in town that is focused primarily here. We also have the Arts Festival people very active in working with this particular facility, and we're really thankful for them. As far as my plans for the future with historic preservation, it is a key part. I look at Main Street, there are a couple of vacant buildings. We've seen Stevens Hotel open up, which is, I think, a great thing. The people in that have tried to go in, and they're not going to change a whole lot in that. They're going to make it a nice place, I think. So that's about all I have right now.
I think it's real important that we take care of our Main Street. It's looking pretty rough. I really think that we should get out and get something done. Historical preservation's one way, ownership's another. There's buildings on Main Street that should have been either condemned or taken away from or made to bring up to code. I mean, there's buildings right on our Main Street that are not up to code. What can we do about it? We can make a resolution that they got to keep them safe, approved by the city, and kept that way. I mean, anybody that goes down Main Street's wondering if they're to Main Street yet anyway. You know, I brought a lot of people into this town in the last little while, and all of them say the same thing. Where did you move Main Street to? I mean, our historical block that we're on right now is fantastic. They love it. But Main Street, I mean, there's nothing on Main Street for them to do or to go see. I mean, we need to do something with our Main Street. I agree with that 100%.
I wish I knew what issue you were talking about with historical preservation so we could even, know what even we were talking about. I don't know much about the historical preservation group or anything else. What are we talking about here? The whole town? I mean, I definitely think, some of the old buildings, need to be taken care of, but some of them need to be torn down. But I don't know